Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll look at the future of fake meat and what it means for consumers and livestock producers.
Farmers look for ways to cut costs with rising fertilizer prices.
And we'll explore the growth in sustainable agriculture in the Northern Plains. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Rose Dunn. President Trump's State of the Union speech this week emphasized a few areas essential to agriculture, including immigration reform, trade, and infrastructure. The president didn't provide any details on the China deal, but re-emphasized the need for fair trade and reforms on intellectual property. He also touted the improvements in the new USMCA over NAFTA and urged congressional approval as soon as possible.
I hope you can pass the USMCA into law so that we can bring back our manufacturing jobs in even greater numbers, expand American agriculture, protect intellectual property. Both parties should be able to unite for a great rebuilding of America's crumbling infrastructure.
Farm groups were encouraged by the State of the Union. However, it was pointed out that infrastructure has been a key point in the president's last three speeches, and yet there have been no results from him or Congress. Fake meat or lab-grown meat is becoming a topic of conversation as the technology makes its way into restaurants and grocery stores. But what is fake meat? It's a process that takes cells from animals and grows them in liquid solutions in a lab. Agweek reporter Jonathan Knutson explores the issue in the next Agweek magazine cover story. Worldwide, meat consumption is expected to increase by 73% over the next 30 years, according to a United Nations report. So proponents say the product will help meet that need in a sterile and environmentally friendly way. And they say it's not so different from regular meat.
The main component of our cultured meat is exactly the same as you find conventional meats, which is animal cells. When you think about conventional meat, it's a combination of muscle, fat, blood. So pretty much all these different components are the ones that provide not only the nutritional value, but also the flavor and the texture.
Many people are concerned about the use of antibiotics in meat production, but the head of the North Dakota Livestock Alliance says there are already several good options for consumers.
We see a lot of natural, organic food. Consumers like that. I don't know why they would drift towards something that's created in a laboratory under antibiotics and other things that are added to make this, what I call false meat, viable.
Livestock stewardship specialist Gerald Stucca worries about whether the widespread use of lab meat could hurt livestock producers and the rural economy.
Will they be able to fit this product into a marketplace that is so inexpensive that it actually outcompetes what we can produce utilizing the resources we have and then drive down the price? And if it's no longer profitable to be out here doing what we do, then you have to do something else.
Proponents say their product should be available on a large scale globally in the next 5 years. The debate over fake meat policy also continues on a state and federal level. Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue announced a memorandum of understanding between his agency and the FDA to regulate the food safety inspection process and labeling protection. As part of our team coverage, Michelle Rook now looks at why livestock producers say this policy is critical to protect their livelihood and avoid the problems faced by the dairy industry.
Despite the joint regulatory approach on fake meat by USDA and FDA, livestock groups still favor the Ag Department having a primary oversight role.
When it comes to this product, we need to make sure that USDA inspects it just like they inspect us, and more importantly, that they can prevent the label from being placed on this product that says clean meat. We don't want that.
What they do want is to ensure a level playing field, which also prevents false and deceptive marketing.
I think if we just look at our merits, we don't have to really worry about seeing our market share dwindle when this product comes to market, but we just have to make sure that we're clear with the consumer on what our product is and what their product is.
Pork producers agree in comparable food safety standards and truth in labeling.
Well, we certainly have to have an inspection process, just like we're going through with FSIS. If they're going to compete with us in the meat case, and they're not traditionally meat, well, then we don't believe it should be named meat.
However, he says much more needs to be known about the science.
What's it take to grow it? What's it take to produce it? What's the carbon footprint? Are they using antibiotics?
And when these questions are answered, the government will be able to properly regulate these products. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgweekTV.
Meanwhile, several state legislatures, including North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska, have introduced bills to require truth in labeling of these fake meat products. Fertilizer prices are rising. Ahead on AgweekTV, we'll look at ways farmers can cut costs.
With the success of the Case IH Tiger Quad Track and Magnum Road Track tractors, it's no secret why Case IH is the leader of the track. So it wasn't surprising when the competition started imitating us. But only Case IH offers a 5-axle design to give you a smoother ride, more power to the ground, with less berming and compaction. Still, we're flattered. In fact, if we weren't already red, we'd be blushing.
Make sure your farm equipment is season ready with an uptime inspection from your Titan Machinery service professionals. Titan Machinery's team of Case IH factory-trained service technicians has the knowledge and experience to find, correct, and prevent mechanical issues that could shut you down during the season. Your planting and harvest windows are short. For genuine Case IH parts and service, schedule an off-season uptime inspection at Titan Machinery today. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you with a wide variety of bin options and accessories, along with site planning and superior customer service. Plus, from top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with generations of experience and dependability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you.
When harvest comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. Northstar Ag offers the Lofness GrainLogix Grain Bag Loader to deliver versatile grain storage performance load after load. Lofness's user-friendly grain baggers are easy to load and unload, perfect to get your harvest in the bag. Northstar Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery, and is a full-service Meridian hopper bin dealer. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used equipment inventory or give us a call.
As farmers plan for the upcoming growing season, they're facing higher fertilizer prices versus 2018. Nitrogen fertilizer is leading the way due to the increased cost of natural gas used to make those products. And as Michelle Rook reports, that's dictating increased fertilizer management for 2019.
Higher fertilizer prices are hitting crop budgets hard, adding $20 to $40 per acre for corn. As a result, farmers are looking at ways to cut costs.
We're talking to a lot of guys this year about split applying the nitrogen. Put some on at planting time. We'll come back and we'll top dress or side dress some. We can get by with a little less nitrogen that way.
Even if nitrogen prices drop some going into spring, split applications are a good way to maximize yield.
It's a little more work for them, which is fine, but they'll be able to save $10 an acre that way.
Farmers using starter don't have to apply as much fertilizer later in the season because it's concentrated in a band near the emerging plant.
And you don't have to spend as much money to get that big bang because you're placing it in furrow where it's not broadcast over a wide area.
Starter fertilizer prices have also stayed relatively steady because the raw materials are tech or food grade.
We're not tied to the ag market like ag grade urea, potash, stuff like that, where it fluctuates with the fuel market and the oil market.
Precision agriculture tools like variable rate fertilizer applications can also cut costs.
When we're doing a split application, it usually starts with a flat application on the front side, and then we'll finish it out with maybe a variable rate application. Variable rate applications can also bump yield. Those ranges can be anywhere from very, very little, but also they can be 10, 20 plus bushels for the right guy.
Andy says the use of manure can also lower the use of commercial fertilizer. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for Ag Week.
For the last week of January 2019, anhydrous ammonia prices averaged $584 per ton versus $490 per ton in 2018, which is up 19%. Urea was at $409 per ton compared to $353 per ton last year, up 16%. The Northern Plains Sustainable Ag Society is growing, so much so it moved north for its 40th annual meeting. The event has been in Aberdeen, South Dakota, but Fargo was chosen this year to accommodate more than 450 attendees and 72 commercial booths. The organization has 280 members from North and South Dakota and western Minnesota. Its mission is education, advocacy, and research, often focusing on organics.
We're grappling with regeneration as far as raising a crop, building your soil at the same time, keeping your soils in good shape. We're tackling the topic of hemp, which is just a kind of a beginning stage. There's a variety of things on livestock and crops of trying to be more profitable.
The group's office also moved recently from Lemoore, North Dakota to Moorhead. A critic of the popular herbicide glyphosate says his crop testing lab is finding the product in organic foods. John Fagan spoke at the Sustainable Ag meeting. He has a doctorate in molecular biology and biochemistry, and in 2015 opened the Health Research Institute, an independent testing lab for organics. The lab was set up to measure the nutritional density of foods and the level of glyphosate and other pesticides. He says glyphosate is a carcinogen, and it's concerning his lab is finding it in organic crops, including garbanzo beans, lentils, and flaxseed.
If you know that a product is carcinogenic and you don't inform the person who's using it that it has that potential, that's not ethical.
Other recent studies show no health risk of glyphosate exposure. What does the weather outlook hold for spring planting? Up next on AgweekTV, we'll have an early prediction. And later, a look at how ethanol benefits not only farmers, but consumers and their communities as well.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
For corn and soybean farmers, it's been a challenging year. So join us as we look towards the future and make sense of international trade at the second annual Northern Corn and Soybean Expo, featuring speakers Mark Mayfield and Chip Flory, with breakout sessions, free breakfast, lunch, and a large corn and soybean trade show. You don't want to miss the second annual Corn and Soybean Expo, Tuesday, February 12th at the Fargo Dome.
How can one tillage tool handle most field conditions, residue types, and tillage practices? It takes a Renegade, the Summers VRT Renegade. Switch from vertical to aggressive tillage and anywhere in between. Adjust blade angles, tillage depth, and more on the go, all from an iPad. Get the tillage results you want, like only the Summers VRT Renegade can. For more information or a demo, contact your Summers dealer.
DTE is your headquarters for flatbeds and service bodies for your truck. Whether you need to haul bales, heavy commercial equipment, or take every tool with you, DTE has the truck equipment you need. We have over 200 units on hand, or will custom build a flatbed or service body on your truck.
Like this Dewey's bale bed with dual lift cylinder arms. Lift, load, and handle your bales with ease.
When you need help at the farm, your business, or in the oil patch, count on DTE. DTE, let us build a truck for you.
With the all-new GreenFit system from Ricard, plug and play is finally a reality when using John Deere AutoTrack guidance with existing new products like the Challenger 1000 series or all-new C-Series Rogators from Butler Machinery. GreenFit is an authorized navigation interface that utilizes the existing John Deere AutoTrack guidance system to steer most Challenger tractors and sprayers. GreenFit eliminates the worry of learning and converting to a new steering system when buying an industry-leading Challenger from Butler Machinery. Learn more about GreenFit at butlermachinery.com.
As farmers go into spring, the buzz is for a shift to more corn acres. However, the key is, will the spring planting weather cooperate? At least one meteorologist says so far, Yes. While the fall was wet and slowed the harvest, early indications are for a normal spring and not a repeat of last year's cold April temperatures. So that should be generally favorable for fieldwork and the planting season.
Given what we're seeing in the model forecasts, plus our analog techniques where we pick out previous years that look most like the most current year, those years didn't have really bad spring weather that hit crops poorly.
Snodgrass says the U.S. is experiencing a weak El Nino, but even if it strengthens, that's generally favorable for the growing season in the Corn Belt. El Nino is having an impact on South American weather. They've been too dry in parts of Brazil, trimming soybean production, and too wet in Argentina. This bitter cold winter is hard on animals as well as people. Livestock stewardship specialist Gerald Stucca says cattle are amazingly well equipped to adapt to the cold. However, he says the wind is the biggest problem for livestock, so producers need to provide shelter for them and extra feed in extreme cold.
When you're feeding cattle, it takes more energy to maintain them and it takes more energy to grow. When it gets real cold, those cattle aren't going to grow as fast. They're not going to finish on the same time frame, and that appears to have actually impacted the market a little bit positively for us as producers.
The good news is he hasn't heard of cattle losses in North Dakota. Stucca says livestock in the upper Midwest are generally better prepared for extreme cold, but the bigger problems happen when more temperate regions get hit with an unusual cold snap. When can we expect a break from this snow and cold? Here's John with our agri-weather outlook.
Weather portion of Ag Week now. This polar vortex disruption continues. I'll show you once again what I mean by that in just a minute. But the long and short of it is the threat into the northern plains and at times down through the upper Midwest of Arctic cold will continue in February. The snows are mostly dry snows, but they can amount to a lot of snow accumulation. Further south we go, the wetter and wetter those snows become. And we can expect additional cold surges, perhaps not as extreme, perhaps so. It really depends on fairly subtle changes. What we're talking about by the polar vortex disruption is the normal or the non-disrupted, more round circulation in the Arctic has become very hyper. It's sort of jet streams are cutting across almost the polar regions, and that's allowing milder weather to move toward the pole, which is displacing this quite frigid air down into many areas of the United States. And we've got that going on through the early part of this week. There will be some relaxation of the cold, but it's likely to surge south again toward the weekend. And as we get into next week, now we're talking into toward Valentine's Day, again, I think there'll be a slight relaxation of the pattern, and then it will likely come back again before February's older. And each of these surges are going to bring down the risk of that sub-zero type weather condition. Now, as far as snow goes, a lot of this is fairly dry and airy, but it certainly causes problem. South of and along the jet stream, it's warm enough that some of this snow down here is quite wet, and some of it is rain through the upper Midwest as well. Snowstorms will probably get a few more through the northern plains and parts of the upper Midwest over the next couple of weeks, even into the post-Valentine's Day period. We may still be looking some occasional storms from time to time. So the basic outlook for the time being, cold and mostly quite snowy.
Fawcett's Elm Creek Ranch would like to invite you to our annual production sale Monday, February 11th at 1 o'clock, selling 130 horned, polled, yearling, and 2-year-old Hereford and Angus bulls and 80 F1 open yearling baldy females. Fawcett's Elm Creek Ranch is your source for the rancher's kind. Elite long-bodied beef bulls with added longevity to generate high-selling feeder cattle and sound functional replacement females. Volume discounts and breeding season guarantees. Visit Fawcett'sElmCreekRanch.com to view catalog, videos, and to find our contact info.
Steffes. We have representatives everywhere. Through North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, we can find a buyer for what you are selling. We know how to market your farmland or equipment. Give us a call. We'll sit down and tell you all about the Steffes way.
Field Drainage Inc. has perfected the art of agricultural drainage by helping hundreds of farmers since 1978. We are a second-generation family-owned business for over 35 years. The Field Drainage Inc. team will work closely with you to conduct a thorough analysis of your needs and expectations. Provide an estimate that fits your budget, perform all work in a timely and professional manner, and provide continued service after installation. Field Drainage Inc., your trusted drain tile installation company for over 35 years.
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
Advanced Grain Handling is your regional dealer for grain handler dryers, bins, and accessories. With Grain Handler's continuous mixed flow drying systems, you're capable of high levels of grain dryer efficiency on all types of grain, including seed grain. Advanced Grain Handling also carries West Steel's quality stainless steel products for on-farm and commercial grain storage solutions. Advanced Grain Handling has licensed and trained service techs and a licensed electrical shop. Get a hold of Chad Kylo to find the perfect solution for your farm.
This segment of AgweekTV brought to you by the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council and the North Dakota Ethanol Council. A North Dakota businessman is one of ethanol's biggest promoters, and Ken Satrang has made the state a leader in ethanol sales and production. Mikkel Pates talked to him about what fuels his support of ethanol.
We've been big promoters and pioneers of ethanol in North Dakota.
Kent Satrang is Chief Executive Officer of PetroServe USA, which is based in West Fargo, and has 33 convenience stores across the region. The company does $200 million in sales a year, much of that fueled by ethanol. He's been a believer since the days when it was made with barley.
Kind of just pushed the idea that we should be using gasohol and not fuel from the Middle East.
Starting in the 1990s, Satrang was a strong cooperator with Governors Hoeven and then Dalrymple to promote ethanol in the state. He worked with corn promoters and invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment, allowing drivers choices for E30 and E85. Now, North Dakota has more blender pumps than any other state.
Giving people choice at the blender pump was very important. People at a gas pump want to be able to choose E85, E30, E15, E10, or 100% gasoline. So we like to offer all of those options.
And Satrang emphasizes it's not just good for the customer.
That means that the corn farmer is going to make some money. It means that the petroleum guy is going to make some money. And the state of North Dakota and us as business people are going to make some money too. So it's just a win-win by giving people choice.
Satrang wasn't just concerned about cutting back on imports of foreign oil. He says it's important to help farmers and in the process revive rural communities.
Main streets are booming where the ethanol plant is because there's probably 40 jobs there. And they're all good paying jobs. But it's also the small towns where the daughters and the sons have been able to come back and take over the farm. And that really helps every little community.
In West Fargo, this is Mikkel Pates for Ag Week.
We'll have more on this in the next Ag Week magazine. One of the nation's biggest ag lenders is cautiously optimistic for farmers in 2019, with worries coming in soybean prices and trade issues. Will Secor, an economist with the CoBank Knowledge Exchange Division, spoke at the North Dakota Grain Dealers annual meeting in Fargo. Secor says the trade dispute with China has led to weaker soybean basis levels. The region's soybean basis is poorer than it was a year ago at this time, but better than at harvest. U.S.-China trade talks are 1 month into a 3-month truce to avoid further tariffs, but Secor says time is running out to address some of the bigger structural issues that would typically take many months to solve. The corn basis is also wide, in part due to weaker demand from ethanol plants, but Secor says there are also some good signs in the farm economy.
All in all, it's a cautiously optimistic outlook, with the caution coming from kind of the soybean market and soybean trade issues.
Secor says questions remain about the effect of South American soybean exports. Brazil and Argentina were expecting bumper crops, but predictions have been lowered some by bad weather. Still ahead on AgweekTV, we have some important information if you plan to store soybeans through the spring and summer.
Get ready for the biological revolution. Agzyme by Ag Concepts is the leading biological soil enhancement product on the market today. Agzyme improves soil health and fertilizer efficiency for healthier crops and better yields.
Definitely is making a difference. I really feel that it
gives me a bump in the soybeans and corn. I would say 55 up to 70 bushel soybeans. We even had as high as 75. Probably the best bang for your buck.
Join the biological revolution with AgZyme by Ag Concepts.
AgWeek is excited to bring you the AgWeek app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your AgWeek news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take AgWeek with you wherever you are. Download the AgWeek app today.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
Soybean sales and prices are still way down due to tariffs and historically wide basis levels, so farmers continue to store large amounts of their crop. But Extension grain storage expert Ken Helevang warns soybeans are tricky to store compared to other grains, especially as we approach spring and summer. Helevang says beans need to be below 11% moisture if they're going to be stored for the summer to prevent mold growth. He says the allowable storage time at 13% moisture at 70 degrees is about 70 days before the beans start to degrade. But at 11% moisture, that jumps to 200 days. He also recommends cooling the grain down to 20 to 40 degrees for winter storage. Quality is affected by both temperature and moisture, so it's important to monitor them closely.
To manage that stored grain means that we have to have a degree of skill that we use as we monitor the temperature, moisture, looking for insects or mold. And I recommend that we do that every 2 weeks, except through the coldest part of the winter.
Grain bags have been widely used for storage this year, but they do not prevent mold or insects, so Helevang suggests those beans be put into bins for spring and summer storage. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or download the AgWeek app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.